Good morning and welcome to the regular meeting of City Council on Tuesday, March 18th, 2025. Would the clerk please take the roll?
Mr. Charland.
Here.
Mr. Coghill. Ms. Gross. Mr. Mosley. Mrs. Cale Smith. Mrs. Strasburger.
Here.
Ms. Warwick.
Here.
Mr. Wilson.
Here.
Mr. Lavelle, President.
Here.
Mr. Mosley.
Here.
6 members present.
Thank you. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. Remain standing for a moment of silence. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Our next order of business is to amend the agenda. Is there a motion to amend?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Our next order of business will be proclamations. We'll begin with Councilman Wilson.
Oh, great. It's always nice to have newcomers to the proclamation process. But today, it's a special day because we get to honor someone who I think represents the best in the North Side and what can come from the North Side is to honor Henry Reese today, so from City of Asylum and so much more. I know that for myself, the first time I heard of City of Asylum was whenever I had a brief stint in trying to go to art school, and so a lot of people don't know that about me, and so I actually spent a decent amount of time with some people that worked at the mattress factory, and through the mattress factory, I became aware of City of Asylum, and it's been such an impact on the North Side, Pittsburgh, and really our nation, and much more far-reaching than that throughout the world. So, really appreciate Henry and Diane coming today. Diane Samuels coming today. Appreciate everything that you do, and we're going to make this official here. And if you'd like to say some words after, that'd be great. Whereas Henry Reese was born and raised in Munhall, Pennsylvania, graduating from Munhall High School in 1967, before earning a degree in humanities from the Johns Hopkins University, where he was inducted to Phi Beta Kappa, and later pursuing graduate studies at the State University of Buffalo. Whereas, alongside his wife, Diane Samuels, Henry Reese co-founded City of Asylum in Pittsburgh in 2004, creating a sanctuary for persecuted writers and artists, offering them housing, financial support, and a platform to share their voices. And whereas, under Henry's leadership, City of Asylum has become one of the world's largest safe havens for exiled writers and artists, strengthening Pittsburgh's reputation as a beacon for free expression, human rights, and cross-cultural dialogue. And whereas Henry has been widely recognized for his dedication to advocacy and literature, receiving accolades such as the 2004 Purpose Prize Fellowship, as well as honorary degrees from Seton Hill University and Chatham University. And whereas beyond his work with City of Asylum, Henry has enriched Pittsburgh's literary and cultural landscape by serving 14 years as a dedicated board member on the Programming Advisory Board of the Pittsburgh Culture Trust. Whereas, after serving as board chair for City of Asylum, Reese has recently stepped down, leaving behind a lasting legacy of advocacy, inclusivity, and cultural enrichment. Now, therefore, be resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh does commend Henry Reese for his extraordinary contributions to the arts, human rights, and the cultural fabric of Pittsburgh, and be it further resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh does hereby declare March 18th, 2025 to be Henry Reese Day in the City of Pittsburgh.
May we have a motion to approve? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Thank you, City Council, President Lavelle, for this honor, which I deeply appreciate and am moved by. City of Asylum's mission is to build a just community by protecting and celebrating freedom of creative expression. Our core value at City of Asylum is hospitality, welcoming the stranger, and we have seen that opening Pittsburgh to new imaginations and experiences has helped us build a better home for ourselves. I've personally felt welcomed by many of you in all aspects of our mission. Councilman Mosley helped us celebrate. He emceed our first jazz poetry in 2005 and continued to participate with us for many years. Thank you, Councilman. President Lavelle helped us in our community building in redeveloping the former Masonic building into Alphabet City, which took many years and much help as a councilman and also as a board member of the URA. Councilman Wilson helped protect us in the aftermath of the attack on Salman Rushdie. He made sure we had extra police protection. In honoring me today, you also honor my wife, Diane Samuels, who has worked hard and thoughtfully for these 20 years. And you also honor many thousands who have joined us in our efforts in our mission of building a just community by protecting and celebrating freedom of expression, creative expression. You also stand up for values that now are in disfavor in DC and take a stand for our city. And on behalf of myself and City of Asylum, I thank all members of council for this. Thank you.
We have all members up here for say thank you in the photograph.
And Councilwoman Smith?
Mr. President, will John Delano please come forward? And friends and family, whoever you have with you. You might have noticed a little absence on political coverage with KDKA lately. Let me tell you, I was like, no, just kidding. But I'll just say thank you so much for all you've done for all these years. Thank you. You too. I'm going to let Councilman, do you want to say a few words first before we start off so people, I'd like to give a synopsis of
Absolutely, yeah. I want to thank Councilwoman Kel Smith for being the prime sponsor of this. I was proud in joining her and supporting this because I go way back with Mr. Delano. You know, he's been a mentor to me. He's been a big supporter of me and, you know, really gave me my first shot of being a pundit, being a talking head on television, which eventually landed me here because it was a couple years ago when Mayor Gainey said to me, he's like, man, you're a great pundit, but I think you would be a better councilman. And at the time, I didn't agree, but I think that the mayor was on to something. But it wouldn't have happened without John Delano giving me the opportunity. So I wanted to be up here today for this honor because you played such an important role in my life, going from organizer and activist to pundit to now council person. You played a huge role in my journey. So thank you so much for all you've done for me.
Okay. whereas after 30 years as KDKA TV's political analyst, 23 of which he also served as the station's full-time money and politics editor, John Delano retired from the station on December 1st, 2024. His final broadcast aired on Monday, November 25th. And whereas John has been a trusted voice in journalism since 1994, when he became the first political analyst for KDKA TV in its history. He joined KDKA full-time in 2001 as the Money and Politics editor and this region's only political analyst who covers national and local issues that affect Pittsburgh residents. Beyond the newsroom, he has hosted and produced shows like Sunday Business Page and Inside PA Politics. And whereas his exclusive interviews with presidents, vice presidents, and prominent leaders have provided viewers with valuable insights, he was the only local TV journalist invited to join the president's motorcade while covering the visit to the Tree of Life Synagogue in 2018. During the 2024 presidential campaign, John was the only local television reporter to secure one-on-one interviews with both presidential candidates. Well, I can't wait to hear those stories. Additionally, he has dedicated 25 years to teaching at Carnegie Mellon University, imparting his expertise to future leaders. And whereas Delano's exceptional journalism has earned him prestigious accolades, including the Edward R. Murrow Award and multiple Green Quill Awards, he was also honored with the Clarity Award by the Pennsylvania Bar Association for his ability to analyze complex legal issues and present them in a way that is understandable to any audience. And whereas Delano is active in his church, where my brother's husband also goes to church, and volunteers for several community organizations, he often moderates and facilitates seminars, candidates, debates, and programs, and speaks at governmental and political issues to civic, business, and labor groups. He has spent his career informing and educating the people of southwestern Pennsylvania, living just 2 blocks from his childhood home with his wife, Jane. John has shown his dedication to family and community, passing these values on to their 2 children. And now therefore be it resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh does hereby recognize and commend John Delano for his legacy of honesty, insight, and commitment to public service, which has made a lasting impact on the residents of the City of Pittsburgh. And be it further resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh does hereby declare Tuesday, March 18th, 2025 to be John Delano Day in the City of Pittsburgh.
May we have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Congratulations.
Well, good morning, everybody. It's rather unusual for me to be on this side of the desk here. I'm usually over there with Aaron Sledge covering what the council is doing. Mr. President, councilwoman, councilmen, council members, it's a great honor to be here, and I thank you so much for your recognition. Shall I do a Donald Trump? There we go. Oops, let's get that up. Thank you again very much for this resolution. You know, when you get to be my age in your 70s, you go back more than a few years with this city council. I knew all of your predecessors, even your predecessors' predecessors. I could tell lots of stories, Teresa, but I'm not sure I should. I remember the early days back in the 70s and early 80s when I was a chief of staff to a local congressman, and I was his representative at the Democratic Party primary campaign committees. I believe the chairman at the time was Jeep DePasquale. And one can remember, I think some of us have memories long enough to recall the great stories of Jeep with Michelle Madoff and the Kaufman's clock. I better not go any further. It was premised on the notion that Councilwoman Madoff claimed there were no handsome men left in the city of Pittsburgh, to which Council President DePasquale took great exception, despite his he was my age back then. So I will also tell you that I've always enjoyed covering city council, although in later years I didn't get to do it as much. You know, I've had the opportunity as Councilwoman Cale Smith mentioned, to interview a number of presidents as well as presidential candidates. And those are exciting interviews, particularly if you do them in the White House, which I've had the chance to do. But it's really the work of you, of local council, and I might add the staff people who are behind you, because as a former staffer in the Congress, I can't tell you how important it is to have good staff people. Just as behind the camera, there are so many good people like the photographers like Aaron here and so many others who really make television work. The same is true in government. But the ability to talk to local officials about what's happening, what's really impacting people's lives. This council has more of an impact in so many ways, frankly, than the Congress of the United States. And although we pay a lot of attention to senators and congressmen, it's what you do locally that matters in our neighborhoods, whether our streets are paved or cleared of snow, or the crime rate is down, or that we have housing for everybody who needs housing, affordable housing, I might add. I mean, all of those issues are decided by people like you. So again, and I should add, Kahari, Kahari's exactly right. I tried to turn him into a political pundit, but it didn't last long because he'd rather be here with you on council, but it was always a pleasure to have you on and comment on various activities. So with that, let me just say again how much I've appreciated the chance to cover City Council. I appreciate this recognition. I appreciate sharing this day with so many other wonderful people that you're honoring. And I'm not surprised because there are so many people in Pittsburgh who do so many good things, and it's great that you recognize them, present company excluded, of course. So thank you again. Good to be with you all.
You have to hold it open. Can all members join us?
All members?
And Rick Earl even came forward for this proclamation. Let me, from Channel 11.
Congratulations. You're going to recognize him one of these days.
Yeah.
He may never retire.
Not so sure about that.
By the way, I made a terrible mistake. I forgot to recognize really the person who's allowed me to do all this. Where would we be without our
Here, say that. Say that.
Where would we be without our spouses? Jane Leahy Delano, Irish to the core.
Who's been a great supporter of you. So.
Thank you.
And Councilwoman Warwick?
Can we have Nikki up and bring everyone, all your friends, family? Ben, you want to come up too? Yeah, Ben, come on up. Come on up. All righty. So before we read this proclamation, I just want to say I first got to know Nikki when I was biking, biking to work past the Eliza Furnace Trail when the encampment was still there, right? And, there was a lot of garbage and things, and we weren't doing, as the city, I didn't feel that we were doing as good a job as we could to kind of keep the encampment clean, right? Which would have made it, easier for the folks living there, more sanitary, safer, and also, less of an eyesore for folks passing through. And so I connected with Ben at OCHS and Nikki, and that's where I met Nikki, who was doing work across the city at all of our encampments, like single-handedly, maybe with a team of 1 or 2 at the most, right? Like single-handedly going in and cleaning. I mean, the photographs of the amount of garbage and debris that she alone picked up, I mean, it's in the tons easily, right? I wish that we had numbers on like the amount of, and then through that process in all of our encampments, she and Bridge to the Mountain have been, actively involved with OCHS in helping us not clear encampments, right? Not just say, move it, folks, like get out of here, but to actually one-on-one, talk to the residents, know the residents, and work with them individually to get housed, first of all, right? And it took us some time, right? When it really took County Exec and Amarato to come in and really prioritize getting those folks housed. But working with these individuals one-on-one to not just get them housed, but also make sure that they were able to collect their belongings from the encampment, right? So that we weren't just throwing things away without knowing, what those things were. And there was one image that just really struck. So Eliza Furnace Trail, which is now, cleared. During that clearing process, it just really, it was so moving. The whole place had been cleared. The whole encampment had been cleared. But there was one tent, and a woman who had been there, I'm not sure her name, but she'd been there easily 9 months, maybe a year, right? Someone who I'd seen regularly coming. One tent left, and she was in the tent going through getting whatever last few things she needed to get out of her tent before it was cleared. So it was real, that level of care and humanity to, help people who are down on their luck and living on the street to not just get into housing, but to really get in and be able to take their things and do it with dignity. It's amazing work that you guys do. So anyway, so I'll get to the proclamation. Whereas Nikki DeMaria serves as the environmental outreach team lead at Bridge to the Mountains, a street outreach nonprofit serving unhoused populations in Pittsburgh and Allegheny County. And whereas Bridge to the Mountains, founded in 2015 by David Letterich and currently led by Calla Canaroy, close enough? Okay. Works to build meaningful and consistent relationships with people who are lacking permanent housing. And whereas in conjunction with Bridge to the Mountains' efforts to facilitate a continuous care model of service coordination, Nikki ensures that the organization's clients have access to clean, dignified living spaces. And whereas Nikki and her colleague Cal Wagner provide non-judgmental support while removing debris, trash, and hazardous waste from places where clients reside. And whereas for people living in public spaces, sanitation is not just about cleanliness, sanitation is about reclaiming a sense of humanity and fostering a sense of pride in one's environment, no matter how temporary. And whereas ensuring clean living spaces helps reduce health risks associated with unsanitary conditions, improving both mental and physical health of residents, which in turn helps the broader community. And whereas Nikki approaches clients with respect and empathy, fostering genuine relationships built on trust and support to help them regain autonomy and agency. And whereas while facilitating cleanups and coordinating waste removal logistics, Nikki and her team act as interlocutors between city departments and our displaced neighbors. And whereas this coordination includes weekly partnerships with the Center for Employment Opportunities, assembling 5 to 15-person teams of formerly incarcerated individuals who join Nikki in the work of restoring dignity in the lives of people lacking permanent shelter. And whereas Nikki, Cal, and the entire CEO team approach their work with compassion, empathy, and sensitivity, recognizing that each individual's path is unique and deserving of respect. And whereas Nikki's ability to connect with clients is an invaluable asset to the region and to Bridge to the Mountains, embodying a continuous care approach where she and her team walk alongside those they serve at every step. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh does hereby recognize Nikki DiMaria for her service to the City of Pittsburgh, and be it further resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh does hereby declare Tuesday, March 18th, 2025 to be Nikki DiMaria Day in the City of Pittsburgh.
May we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Want to say a few words? Go ahead.
I'm not much of a public speaker. I just really want to thank Barb so much for recognizing and also coordinating efforts between me and other agencies, and also thank Bridge and Ben, as well as CEO and my partner. That's all.
Hi, everybody. I'm Ben from OCHS. Just a few quick things. Like, I met Nikki quite a few years ago with her lovely puppies when we were out with some veterinarians. And seeing Nikki come into this work and be able to help all the people that I think she already knows and continues to build relationships has helped not only our office, has helped the people living out the street the most, also is helping DPW and all of this. Just really thankful for being able to work with Nikki. Thank you.
All right. Can we have members come up for a picture?
And then lastly, but certainly not least, if all those here in support of the 4 young women from Manchester Academic Charter School, please come forward. So this morning, we want to take a moment to recognize academic excellence. We've had a wide ranging of topics this morning, but it's always critical to also recognize young people and the wonderful work that they're doing. And so we want to say congratulations to all of you. I'm going to make sure I try to say your names appropriately. If I miss, please correct me, okay? All right. Whereas since 1966, over 60,000 students nationwide have competed in the annual Academic Games National Tournament, where more than 1,000 students engage in rigorous yet friendly competition as they vie for the Thinker Trophy. And whereas students compete in a variety of games that test their knowledge in various subject areas, including math, English, social studies, and logic. And whereas students from Manchester Academic Charter School embarked on their journey to reach the national tournament in September of 2024 with competitors taking on 5 challenging games, as those with the highest overall scores earned the opportunity to represent Manchester Academic Charter School at the 2025 Academic Games National Tournament this April in Washington, D.C. And whereas after a year of local tournaments, 125 students and 17 coaches from 10 different schools qualified to represent the Western Pennsylvania Games League at the national competition, and with 4 outstanding students from Manchester Charter, Razera Bess, Zaria Johnson, Indigo Joseph, and Anicia Todd. Anijah, I apologize, thank you. Anijah Todd earning their spots at the national stage. And whereas the students have dedicated countless hours to practice each week for over half the year, demonstrating incredible commitment and perseverance while strengthening their problem-solving skills. Whereas the experience of competing at the national level is an incredible achievement as a qualification to the Academic Games National Tournament by Razera Best, Zaria Johnson, Indigo Joseph, and Anijah Todd is a testament to their hard work, excellence, and dedication. And now therefore be resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh does hereby congratulate and celebrate the qualifications of Razera Best, Zaria Johnson, Indigo Joseph, and Anijah Todd to the 2025 Academic Games National Tournament, and are honored to see them represent Manchester Academic Charter and by extension the City of Pittsburgh at this prestigious event. May we have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Congratulations.
Hi, everybody. Thank you, President Lavelle, council members, Miss Best for getting us here today. Thank you, Miss Best. A little bit about Manchester Academic. We're 28 years old. We've been on the north side of Pittsburgh. I've been here all 28 years and CEO for about 24. Our founders, Dr. Betty Robinson and Reverend James Robinson, are watching live on TVs and very excited about it. We'd like to, we're K-8, 400 kids, and it's great to be here for achievement of children, and that's what we're here for. To be honest with you, I don't do a lot with this program. I just say yes. And sometimes as CEOs, that's the smartest thing you can do. Every once in a while, I'll go in and crack a joke or two, and they'll kick me out of the study room and say, we have work to do. And the one thing they are upset about is this is usually in Orlando, and this year it's in Washington, so they get to go to Washington instead of Orlando. But I want to call up our coaches, Miss Bush and Miss Melnick. If you could say, give them a big round. They know more about the program.
Hello, everyone. Thank you so much. This is quite an honor for our students. This is my 13th year coaching academic games, and the goal is to make it to the national tournament, and it rotates to different cities from year to year. It's a true testament of their dedication, and I can't be more proud of these girls. We have a team of girls this year going down, so we're all excited. Our ultimate goal is to land a Thinker Trophy on that national stage, and I think that this year we are well on our way to landing those Thinker Trophies. So thank you so much. Appreciate it.
Hello, I'm the assistant coach for academic games, and I just want to come up and say how proud I am of you girls. And this is my second year doing this, and just the amazing students that we had throughout this process, and being able to go on the trips and see all the students have fun and be able to travel and experience new things is just a wonderful sight to see. So I'm just proud of you ladies.
Before we hand the mic to our achievers here, in the back, you'll see a young lady that was with us, went to academic games in 2017? 15. And she just graduated college and is on her way to Paris to live. So that's the things we're doing. That's the things we're doing here at Max. So that's great news. You want to wave to everybody? Thank you.
Thank you. And if we could have the young ladies and even mothers, they would like to introduce themselves.
My name is Zaria Johnson. I'm in 6th grade at Max, Manchester Academic Charter School.
Hello, I'm Anijah Todd. I'm in 8th grade, and I also represent Manchester Academic Charter School.
Also, Miss Todd, we just had Pi Day, and Miss Todd knows Pi.
Hi, my name is Indigo Joseph. I'm in the 5th grade, and I go to Max. Yeah.
Hello again, I'm Jasmine. I'm Anaja Todd's mom, and I'm proud of Mac. Yay, academics. Hello, I'm Tiffany Best. I'm the parent of Razera Best and also Destiny Best, and my other two are here as well. But we want to thank you for this opportunity to let our beautiful ladies shine. And go, Max! Go do that academic game. Woohoo!
Hello, I'm Melissa Thomas, the Director of Curriculum. I'm just really happy to be here to support and to see all of the wonderful things that are happening in our city. It really feels like a community space and like a place to belong. Thank you for sharing that with us.
With that, Chris, take a quick picture.
Congratulations. Congratulations. Yeah.
And we have one proclamation to be read into the record.
Councilwoman Cale Smith presents, be it further resolved that the Council of the City of Pittsburgh does hereby declare Thursday, March 13th, 2025 to be Roger Adam Day in the City of Pittsburgh.
May we have a motion to approve?
So moved. Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Proclamation has been approved. That will take us to public comment. I would like to remind everyone that the rules of council state that comments are limited to matters of concern, official action, or deliberation, which may be before city council. Profanity will not be permitted. After you are called, please restate your name, provide your neighborhood for the record. You'll be given 3 minutes to speak. Our first registered speaker is Dr. Ronald Miller.
Dr. Ronald Lynn Miller, Germantown, Little Italy, Roma, Berlin. I'm the Global Intelligence Society candidate for president in 2028. There are more than 2 political parties in the United States who nominate people for president of the United States, for mayor, for governor. I think it is obscene to just simply say both candidates do X, Y, and Z. My genetic father was a German American, a member of the largest ethnic identity constituency in the United States, and my mother, Latina Italian, who was a member of the second largest ethnic U.S. American identity group. That means that my individual German and Latin ethnic identity makes me a part of the most dominant U.S. American form. A concern of this council is to offer the best information at the highest level of intelligence, see the ally, Council Alliance to solve our problems. That's part of my initiative 6 for 2028. In Pittsburgh City and U.S. country, we need to alter Haddon in contact, informational fidelity, intelligence efficiency on multiple levels, 10 to the 0, 10 to 1, 10 to the 2, in multiple dimensions, vertical column, y to the 0, diagonal cross, z to the 0, horizontal row, x to the 0. That is the core of my Leager Nascente, uno anno de sociabilidad. That is the German, Latina, U.S. American Angelina Jolie as Evelyn Salt. And that is Latin American intelligence produced by physicist Dr. Juan Maldacena from Argentina, writer Gabriel Marquez from Colombia, the musician Carlos Santana, and baseballer Roberto Clemente from Puerto Rico. He was no Bobby. According to the press here and to KDKA, Bobby did this and Bobby did that. No. Multi-level and multi-dimension information fidelity and intelligence efficiency shows up in what I call the U.S.-American five-thread national fabric. This leads to the question, who is in ultimate control of the local police? If a U.S.-American president claimant orders Pittsburgh police to arrest Latin Americans, especially perceived Mexican migrants, then can a local mayor claimant override that position? I urge this council to pass a local law that says yes, he or she can.
Thank you. That exhausts our list of registered speakers. If there's anyone in chambers wishing to speak, please come forward at this time. Also provide your name and neighborhood for the record.
Good morning. Bernadette from Beachview. I was down at Market Square. I don't know who put all that together, and I feel bad for not knowing, but I absolutely love it. The Thaw is like a 1970s game room, the best one in your neighborhood. It's just, it's nice, it's safe. Kudos to all the police officers and all the public workers. I continue my drive to every time I see a police officer, city, county, Port Authority, I make it a point to go and thank them. They're trying their best, and I love downtown. Other people want to cry and make it sound like it's a war zone and everything's boarded up. It's not. It's amazing. There's music, and I have sung to you before. Thank you. I know that Pittsburgh had nothing to do with the rescue, but my very first crush when I was 15 died in an explosion in Crafton on Chartiers Avenue the other day, and I know that there was a lot of alarms put out, and Pittsburgh was not one of them, but many of us in Pittsburgh know Sergeant Richard Geibel, may he rest in peace. That was a big community effort that came together. Kudos to the police in Brookline. We had some tragic incidences there, and in my homeland of Beachview, the only thing I want is more garbage cans. And I also encourage, after speaking with the people at the Department of whatever it is that handles garbage and refuge, they should probably come to more community meetings, because there's a lot of information that I don't think people are aware, and they might not even know to go and look at a website. But yeah, and also I challenge our Pittsburgh neighbors to thank they're like little minions, the amazing people that keep our streets clean. They're all dressed up in yellow, and they're always sweeping the corners, and they're always keeping the garbage cans cleaned, and you should see their face light up when I just say thank you for your service, because nobody ever thanks them. So I encourage everybody in Pittsburgh, thank our officers, thank our men and women who are keeping us safe and keeping us clean, and thank you to whoever put that thing together at Market Square, and yay music. Have a good day.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good morning. My name is Yvonne S. Brown. I missed some of the proclamations because I went out to get the autograph from Delano. And Delano I have known for years. And I can remember one time I was speaking to Delano, and I was saying, remember they put the Wi-Fi in the city of Pittsburgh, and they took it all the way up to the police station. Well, behind the police station is where the projects are, with the poor children. And I was fussing to Delano. I said, they put it in the police station, but we need it for our children up at the top of the hill. They're right behind them. And we see that now with the schools, that the ones that don't have computers. You just have to excuse me because I am really, really depressed about coming down here. And I've been doing it for years. And I keep coming because I don't want anybody else to have to go through what I did. And maybe if I got a little bit of education or a little bit how to deal with gens, maybe they could also learn how. I want you to understand that we had Rick Earl. I seen Rick Earl. You just mentioned him. Now, Rick, I got a lot of respect for, much respect. But I used to chase him when he was messing with Miss Carlisle, because nobody would bother. Dr. Weck and his wife would walk down the street, just like, and they would park like there's a sea. But Miss Carlisle, they was chasing her. And one time she was telling, Miss Brown, will you tell them to leave me alone? I said, what? They're doing what? And they were actually chasing her. But why? How come Weck is any different? You can't ask him no questions. You don't try. I want you to understand that I have my grandbaby who's 11 years old. I mean, she's just turned 12. That's the one that had she had actually wrote a proclamation. I mean, wrote a, well, I guess it was a proclamation. She was asking why the boys, as mean as they were, was beating up the girls, but yet they were honor guards. And she was saying, how come there couldn't be any girls? And she wrote this proclamation. So like I told Mr. Lavelle, I give Mr. Lavelle, H-E-L-L, because I think he deserves it. But he's an educated man. He's smart, and you know it. You got a lot of education, but you don't fight for the people in the community that you should. All that education, we should have more than what we have, because you know how to do it. I come down, I'm just learning. Even though I've been coming for years, I'm learning about how to deal with things. Watching you, a lot of times, I feel that you could have spoke up for us, Mr. Lavelle. And you're a young man, and your father and grandfather are great men. I know your grandfather helped this whole community. And that's when they put you in office, that's what you're supposed to do. And that means that you would speak to everybody. Like, you don't halfway speak to me, it don't make me no difference, but the people see it. Excuse me.
Thank you. Next speaker, please.
Good morning, Special Agent Sunshine. Did y'all like the parade? I did. I had so much fun. It was great, even though it rained. Thank you, Lord, for the rain. I return to sender any voodoo, hexes, curses any of you send towards me, 100 million, billion, trillion Googleplex. In Jesus' name. I just want to conclude on the information I found out about the marriage of Jesus and Mary Magdalene. That was a royal bloodline. I got the information from Donald B. Watkins, who has done 2 years research on that bloodline. It's amazing what he found. The marriage occurred during the wedding at Cana. If anybody has any question about that, you can do some research on it. It was easy for me to find. I went to the library. It was before Jesus' ministry and his public display of miracles, and he was about 30 years old. That's found in Luke chapter 3, verse 25. What I want to talk about is his descendants. His 2 children. I may be part of that bloodline. Maybe that's why my identity is being covered up so much by you guys. It's amazing the lengths you guys have gone through to cover up who I really am. God wants you to know I'm sunshine. You can't cover that up. He wants the world to see me. That's why he put me on this platform. As far as me being a descendant, I was left an inheritance. I sure was, and you guys know about it. Somebody has taken and changed the name on the will that my grandmother left. Whatever was in that will, y'all changed my name so you could steal it. But guess what? You have to give it back. I'm so sorry, but you do. And time is really up for anybody who knows about it and who signed off on it, in Jesus' name. I also wanted to let you know that the Neuralink chip that was installed in me illegally came from Rockville, Maryland, the National Institute of Health. There was a manager there in the molecular neural pathology lab. His name was Michael or somebody. Him and his wife literally set me up and a couple other people with this chip. Now, It will be destroyed in Jesus' name. And whoever knows about it will also be destroyed in Jesus' name. Count on it. Let me pray. Dear God, thank you for your compassion and faithfulness. Help me to trust in you and your promises for the future. How about the tornado? Did y'all enjoy that? In Jesus' name.
Next speaker, please. Next speaker, please. Seeing no further speakers, we'll turn to the presentation of papers, beginning with Councilman Charlin, Chair of Human Resources.
Good morning, Mr. President.
Morning.
New papers.
Thank you. Councilman Coghill, Chair of Public Safety and Wellness. Councilman Charlin for Councilman Coghill. Thank you.
Councilman Coghill presents Bill number 1634, resolution repealing an item in resolution number 512 of 2022, effective date September 23, 2022, in order to rescind the sale.
And Councilwoman Gross, Chair of Innovation, Performance, Asset Management, and Technology.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Gross presents Bill number 1635, resolution authorizing the mayor and the city solicitor to enter into a professional service agreement or agreements with SciComm Data Systems, Inc. for computer services relating to continuing maintenance, support, and upgrades to city law, the Department of Law's current legal case management and administrative support software system for an amount not to exceed $11,424 over 1 year.
And Councilman Mosley, Chair of Intergovernmental Educational Affairs.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Councilman Mosley presents Bill number 1636, resolution authorizing a cooperation agreement or agreements providing for the transfer of funds not to exceed $125,000 to the City of Pittsburgh Equipment Leasing Authority for the purchase of vehicles for the Department of Public Works, Bureau of Environmental Services. This expenditure is associated with grant funds that the city will receive from the Pennsylvania Department of Environmental Protection from the 902 Municipal Recycling Grant. Bill number 1637, resolution authorizing the issuance of a warrant payable in favor of Chartiers Valley District Flood Control Authority to renew the City of Pittsburgh's membership into the CVDFCA and pay fees for the year 2025 in an amount not to exceed $17,204 over 1 year. And Bill number 1638, resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Public Works and or the director of the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure on behalf of the City of Pittsburgh to enter into a cooperation agreement with the Pittsburgh Downtown Partnership, providing for assignment of ownership and maintenance of certain infrastructure to be constructed by the Pittsburgh Downtown Partnership for the improvement of Market Square at no cost to the city.
And Councilwoman Kell Smith, Chair of Recreation, Youth, and Senior Services.
Thank you. No new papers, Mr. President.
Thank you. And Councilwoman Strasburger, Chair of Finance and Law.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilperson Strasburger presents Bill number 1639, resolution amending resolution number 564 of 2024, which authorized 36 open-end professional services agreements with multiple vendors to provide professional services on an on-call basis as required, related to various professional services as needed by the various departments of the City of Pittsburgh, each agreement being at an amount not to exceed $1,500,000 annually for a 3-year term, and providing for the funding of the cost thereof by authorizing 56 additional open-end professional services agreements with multiple vendors for same various professional services. And Bill number 1640, resolution amending resolution number 565 of 2024, which authorized 36 open-end professional services agreements with multiple vendors to provide professional services on an on-call basis as required, related to various professional services as needed by the various departments of the City of Pittsburgh, each agreement being at an amount not to exceed $750,000 annually for a 3-year term, and providing for the funding of the cost thereof by authorizing 56 additional open-end professional services agreements with multiple vendors for same various professional services.
And Councilwoman Warwick, Chair of Public Works and Infrastructure.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Warwick presents Bill number 1641, resolution providing for the issuance of a warrant in favor of Canon Tools for the purchase of one Max Scan tool used to repair DPW vehicles in an amount not to exceed $13,499.98 over 1 year.
And Councilman Wilson, Chair of Land Use and Economic Development.
No new papers, Mr. President.
Thank you. And I have 3 communications.
Council President Lavelle presents Bill number 1642, communication from Jake Pollack, Director of the Office of Management and Budget, submitting to City Council the attached status update from the Grants Office for the week ended March 14, 2025. Bill 1643, communication from Jake Pollack, Director of the Office of Management and Budget, submitting the City of Pittsburgh Southside Parking Enhancement District Report for the period ending December 31st, 2024. And Bill number 1644, communication from Felicity Williams, Deputy Chief of Staff, submitting the Equal Opportunity Review Commission Annual Report for the period ending December 31st, 2024.
And we need a motion to read, receive, and file.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Bills have been read, received, and filed. Our next order of business is reports of committee for final action. Excuse me. Beginning with Councilwoman Erica Strasburger, presenting Committee of Finance and Law.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilperson Strasburger presents Bill number 1628, reported to Committee on Finance and Law for March 12, 2025, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill 1571, resolution amending Resolution 841 of 2024, authorizing the mayor to enter into an agreement or amendments thereto with Partners for Public Good to receive technical assistance to use procurement as a lever for inclusive workforce development, job quality, and local economic empowerment at no cost to the city.
You have heard the reading and title of the bill. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the bill is now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye where the name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Would the clerk please take the roll?
Mr. Charland.
Aye.
Ms. Gross. Aye. Mr. Mosley.
Aye.
Mrs. Kell-Smith.
Aye.
Mrs. Strasburger.
Aye.
Mrs. Warwick.
Aye.
Mr. Wilson.
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle, President.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 noes.
The bill, having received the legally required number of votes, is passed finally. That takes us to Councilman Anthony Coghill, presenting the Committee of Public Safety and Wellness.
Councilman Coghill presents Bill number 1629, reported to Committee on Public Safety and Wellness for March 12, 2025, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill 1567, resolution authorizing the mayor, the director of the Office of Management and Budget, and the Department of Public Safety to enter into an agreement or agreements with the Pennsylvania Department of Drugs and Alcohol Programs for the purpose of receiving grant funds from the Substance Use Disorder Drop-In Center in the amount of $1,875,000 for a new drop-in center to provide social services for people in crisis.
You've heard the reading and title of the bill. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the bill is now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage of the bill will vote aye when the name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Mr. Charland.
Aye.
Ms. Gross. Aye. Mr. Mosley.
Aye.
Mrs. Kell-Smith.
Aye.
Mrs. Strasburger.
Aye.
Mrs. Warwick.
Aye.
Mr. Wilson.
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle, President.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 noes.
The bill, having received the legally required number of votes, is passed finally. That takes us to Councilwoman Barbara Ward, presenting the Committee of Public Works and Infrastructure.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilwoman Warwick presents Bill number 1630, reported to Committee on Public Works and Infrastructure for March 12, 2025, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill 1573, Resolution providing for an amended reimbursement agreement or agreements with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation for costs associated with the preliminary engineering, final design, utility coordination, right-of-way, and construction phases of the Penn Avenue Phase 2 project, and providing for the payment of the cost thereof not to exceed $12,275,000, an increase of $10,200,000 from the previously executed agreement, reimbursable at 80%, and a municipal share of Commonwealth incurred costs not to exceed $68,400, an increase of $50,400 from the previously executed agreement. Bill 1574, resolution providing for an amended reimbursement agreement or agreements with the Pennsylvania Department of Transportation for costs associated with the preliminary engineering, final design, and construction phases of the demolition of the bridge over Route 51 near Woodruff Street, also referred to as the Parking Lot Bridge Project, providing for the payment of the cost thereof not to exceed $4,377,305.53, an increase of $3,752,305.53, 100% Commonwealth incurred costs from the previously executed agreement, and a municipal share of the Commonwealth incurred costs not to exceed $36,673.95, an increase of $7,423.95 from the previously executed agreement as previously authorized by Resolution 73 of 2024.
You've heard the reading and title of the bill. Is there any discussion? Councilwoman Gross?
Thank you. I just want to take this opportunity. I could save it in motions, resolutions, but since we have this bill on Penn Avenue Phase 2, I just want to give a shout out to all of the businesses that have survived on Penn Avenue. This is the intersection of District 7 and District 9. I shared with Councilman Mosley, but they survived over the last 10, 15 years, Penn Avenue Phase 1. And it's disruptive. It makes it harder to get to the businesses. We try our best to keep sidewalks open, to provide detour routes, but we've had to organize the neighborhoods, and the neighborhoods have been really great at trying to support the stores on Penn Avenue, which has been, a multi-decade effort to revitalize that corridor and bring the two sides of the neighborhood together. And it's been a rough winter. Currently, People's Gas makes Penn Avenue, the reconstruction of gas lines makes it really difficult to navigate. So there is a Penn Avenue construction crawl this Saturday, March 22nd, from 12 to 6 p.m. Come out for a fun day of open houses, activities, food, and shopping while supporting local businesses on Penn Avenue, especially between the intersections of Matilda to Graham. So again, that's this Saturday, March 22nd, from 12 to 6 p.m. Thank you, Mr. President. I appreciate it.
Thank you. Any further discussion? If none, the bill is now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage of the bill, vote aye when their name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Mr. Charland.
Aye.
Ms. Gross.
Aye.
Mr. Mosley.
Aye.
Mrs. Cale Smith.
Aye.
Mrs. Strasburger.
Aye.
Mrs. Warwick.
Aye.
Mr. Wilson.
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle, President.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 noes.
The bill, having received the legally required number of votes, is passed finally. That takes us to Councilman Bobby Wilson, presenting the Committee of Land Use and Economic Development.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Councilman Wilson presents Bill Number 1631, reported to Committee on Land Use and Economic Development for March 12, 2025, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill 1575, resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of City Planning and/or the director of the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure to enter into a professional services agreement and/or contract with Michael Baker International, Inc. for costs associated with the Manchester Reunited State Route 65 planning study and providing for the payment of the cost thereof not to exceed $1,356,447.21.
You've heard the reading and title of the bill. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the bill is now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage of the bill, vote aye when their name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Mr. Charland.
Aye.
Ms. Gross.
Aye.
Mr. Mosley.
Aye.
Mrs. Cale Smith.
Aye.
Mrs. Strasburger.
Aye.
Mrs. Warwick.
Aye.
Mr. Wilson.
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle, President.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 noes.
The bill having received the legal required number of votes is passed finally, and that takes us to Councilwoman Deborah Gross presenting the Committee of Innovation, Performance, Asset Management, and Technology.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Councilwoman Gross presents Bill number 1632, reported to Committee on Innovation, Performance, Asset Management, and Technology for March 12, 2025, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill 1568, resolution amending Resolution 287 of 2024, which added funding for maintenance services related to the Falcon Red document scanning station by authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Finance to extend the agreement with OPEX Corporation for equipment, maintenance services, and associated software licenses at a cost not to exceed $29,941 for a new total cost not to exceed $136,671.
You've heard the reading and title of the bill. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the bill is now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage of the bill, vote aye when the name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Mr. Charland.
Aye.
Ms. Gross.
Aye.
Mr. Mosley.
Aye.
Mrs. Kell-Smith.
Aye.
Mrs. Strasburger.
Aye.
Mrs. Warwick.
Aye.
Mr. Wilson.
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle, President.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 noes.
The bill having received the legally required numbers of votes is passed finally, and finally, Councilman Kari Mosley presenting the Committee of Intergovernmental and Educational Affairs.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you.
Councilman Mosley presents Bill number 1633, reported to Committee on Intergovernmental and Educational Affairs for March 12, 2025, with an affirmative recommendation. Bill 1569, resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Mobility and Infrastructure on behalf of the City of Pittsburgh to enter into a cooperation agreement with the Sports and Exhibition Authority for dedication to the City of Street improvements along Penn Avenue, Fort Duquesne Boulevard, and 11th Street surrounding the David L. Lawrence Convention Center, providing for the payment of the cost thereof, no cost not to exceed $0. Bill 1570, resolution providing for a reimbursement agreement or agreements with the Southwestern Pennsylvania Commission to recoup yearly costs associated with the city's participation and attendance in the member planning agency participation services at no cost to the city. Bill 1590, resolution authorizing the mayor and the director of the Department of Public Works and the director of the Department of Finance to enter into a temporary construction easement agreement and or related agreements or amendments with the URA of Pittsburgh for the purpose of allowing the URA and its contractors and subcontractors to access city-owned property at 9 Mile Run in Swisstown Park during the URA's slag heap remediation project at no cost to the city. Bill 1591, resolution authorizing the Pittsburgh Land Bank to acquire all the city's right, title, and interest, if any, in into the publicly owned property in the 12th Ward of the City of Pittsburgh, designated in the Deed Registry Office of Allegheny County as Block 125B, Lot 46, 0 Lincoln Avenue, Council District Number 9, at no cost to the city. Bill 1592, resolution authorizing the Pittsburgh Land Bank to acquire all the city's right, title, and interest, if any, in into the publicly owned property in the 26th Ward, City of Pittsburgh, designated in the Deed Registry Office of Allegheny County is Block 77N, Lot 321, 115 Hawkins Avenue, Council District Number 6, at no cost to the city. Bill 1593, resolution authorizing the Pittsburgh Land Bank to acquire all the city's right, title, and interest, if any, in into the publicly owned property in the 26th Ward, City of Pittsburgh, designated in the Deed Registry Office of Allegheny County as Block 46G, Lot 206, 435 East Burgess Street, Council District Number 6, at no cost to the city. Bill 1594, resolution authorizing the Pittsburgh Land Bank to acquire all the city's right, title, and interest, if any, in into the publicly owned property in the 25th Ward, City of Pittsburgh, designated in the Deed Registry Office of Allegheny County as Block 46R, Lot 109, 1907 Meadville Street, Council District Number 1, at no cost to the city. Bill 1595, resolution authorizing the Pittsburgh Land Bank to acquire all the city's right, title, and interest, if any, in into the publicly owned property in the 26th Ward, City of Pittsburgh, designated in the Deed Registry Office of Allegheny County as Block 46K, Lot 129 and 130, 2314 and 2316 Perrysville Avenue, Council District Number 6, at no cost to the city. Bill 1596, resolution authorizing the Pittsburgh Land Bank to acquire all the city's right, title, and interest, if any, into the publicly owned properties in the 26th Ward, City of Pittsburgh, designated in the Deed Registry Office of Allegheny County as Block 46G, Lots 41 and 42, 2417 and 0 Osgood Street, Council District Number 6, at no cost to the city. And Bill number 1597, resolution authorizing the Pittsburgh Land Bank to acquire all the city's right, title, and interest, if any, into the publicly owned property in the 26th Ward, City of Pittsburgh, designated in the Deed Registry Office of Allegheny County as Block 46B, Lot 90, 2526 Perrysville Avenue, Council District Number 6, at no cost to the city.
You have heard the reading and title of the bill. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the bill is now ready for final action. All in favor of the passage of the bill, vote aye when name is called. Those opposed will vote no. Will the clerk please take the roll?
Mr. Charland.
Aye.
Ms. Gross.
Aye.
Mr. Mosley.
Aye.
Mrs. Kale-Smith.
Aye.
Mrs. Strasburger.
Aye.
Mrs. Warwick.
Aye.
Mr. Wilson.
Aye.
Mr. Lavelle, President.
Aye.
8 ayes, 0 noes.
The bills having received the legally required number of votes is passed finally. That takes us to motions and resolutions. Is there anything from members? Councilwoman Smith?
I just want to make sure I not acknowledge the passing of Missy Zealous, Denise Zealous, who ran the Zealous Hope Foundation. She was an amazing person, but this week, this past month, our district lost a lot of great leaders, including this past weekend, Gerald Akery's father, Harold Akery. A lot of people might know Gerald Akery from working here at Animal Care and Control as a supervisor for years, but his father also just passed away. So there's just been a lot of loss, but I also want to recognize that, and I don't know if he wants me, I don't think he really wants me to acknowledge it, but Brian Ralston does a lot for the city of Pittsburgh, and his wife Michelle does as well. And there was a car accident in my district last week, and it was their nephew who was killed in the car accident. And so I want to acknowledge everything that there's so much struggling that District 2 is going through with a lot of losses of a lot of loved ones. So I want to acknowledge that. The other thing I want to talk about is crime in the city of Pittsburgh. We have watched and heard so many things. We see our police department going through so much. We hear how, we missed opportunities for great leaders and on and on and on. But what I can tell you is every single day and every single week, I'm hearing an increase of issues going on, especially with vehicles on Grandview Avenue, side streets, modified vehicles with modified exhaust. And we've had an elderly person in Mount Washington that was hit in the face by one of the people. Another one was shot at, and I think it was a pellet gun or something. I'm not sure what it was, but regardless, they're elderly people, and this is just out of control. And we have the officers have put in people. It's not as if they're not responding. So people continue to say it's the officers, it's the public, it's the judges, it's on and on. All these things are going on, but the reality is there's also no place to put a lot of kids. And so I do want to call for a public hearing on public safety in the city of Pittsburgh. And I will make sure that it's going to be in the community. And if we don't have it soon, then I'm going to schedule an open meeting in the community so that they can at least discuss it. I want them to have this opportunity to discuss. I think there's a lot of judicial candidates running. People want to know where they stand on these issues, how they're going to help clean up their communities. I think there's a lot of issues going on with the mayor's race and all of our, other races. I think people just want to know, what are we going to do to keep them safe going forward? Because right now, there's a lot of things that are out of control that seem to be so minor to handle, and before they escalate into something major. And I'm afraid we're setting our kids up for failure too, because we're allowing it to happen. And so for that, I'm going to call for a public hearing on public safety in the city of Pittsburgh. And I'll work with Councilman Coghill since he chairs the committee too.
Thank you. Is there a second? For the public
Second.
hearing?
Second.
Thank you. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
We'll work with you to get it scheduled. Councilman Mosley.
Yeah, I just want to give a shout out to the Sacred Heart Crusaders from Shady Side, middle school basketball team. It just happens to be the team that my son plays on as well. They competed very hard in the Catholic League state championships in Scranton this past weekend, finishing fourth out of the 8th diocesan teams. So I just want to give them a shout out, Coach Mike, Coach Chad. They are the champions of the Pittsburgh Diocese, so I hope to have them here on the upcoming Tuesday before the 8th graders graduate and move on to high school. And I also want to wish them luck this weekend as we go to State College for the all middle schools state championship tournament. And hopefully they can bring home some hardware from State College that they weren't able to bring home from Scranton. So go Crusaders.
Hey, congratulations. Anything else from members? If not, we have meeting announcements. This afternoon at 2 o'clock, council will hold a pre-agenda interview for members appointed to the Housing Authority, City of Pittsburgh Board of Directors. Tomorrow, Wednesday, March 19th at 10 a.m., council will hold our standing committee meeting. Speaker registration will close at 9 a.m. To register to speak at this meeting, please fill out the sign-up form on the council meeting webpage by the deadline or call the clerk's office at 412-255-2138. Also, tomorrow at 2 p.m., council will hold a Cablecast post-agenda discussion on zoning, chaired by Councilwoman Teresa Cale Smith. With that, we need a motion to excuse the absent members, approve the minutes, and adjourn the meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.